Okay, well, thanks to the power of the internet, we solved our little technical issue that we were having last week, was how we were to make this hole routed out wider. So if you are not sure what I'm talking about, have a look at the technical question from last week. One of the feedbacks we got was actually cut around and stick around in there and then set your router up like this with those little offsets and then drive the router around it. And it absolutely worked perfectly. I actually didn't even cut around. I just used the existing plug through the gap, and as you can see, just basically, oh crikey, one of the birds come into the garage. As you can see, just move the router around there, plunge it down to the right depth and move it around, so it absolutely worked a treat. So you can see in there like that, and I just held these black things firm around the plug hole and moved it around. So thanks to everyone that responded. Really appreciate your responses. Thank you. So what you're going to do is these lights have switches in them, right? Yeah. They're there. Yeah. Okay. But when you turn the power off to them and you go to turn the power on from an alternate switch, you've got to repress that switch to make the light come on, right? Yeah. And we don't want that because we just want to operate it off one switch. So we're going to take the switch out, as I have in this one here, and solder those wires together. So that's basically the switch there. It's held in by a little tab. Yeah. Okay. So we'll undo the... Take it off. You've never soldered wires before?
No.
No, you haven't done it at school?
No.
Okay, sweet. Okay, so that's the little switch that we've removed. We don't need that, and we'll just hardwire it and use it off another switch. Okay, Sammy, what you're going to do is we're going to teach you how to wire in a bit of extra wire to these, okay?
Yes.
And then we'll put a little bit of heat shrink on it, and then we put a couple of male and female connectors on it, and we'll put these connectors onto the ceiling, and that's how we connect our 12-volt lighting system. I'll show you how to do this and then you can have a go, okay? So you've got a wire stripper, okay? Basically you find the right size hole, and that's got a little knife edge on it.
Yeah.
Then grip it together, pull your wire through, okay? So you can have a go at that. We've got plenty of wire, so... Okay, so let me show you. You just got to be careful you don't crank the cable like that, but that's okay. You got it off. So basically, strip that end off that one as well, and you can solder these two wires together. Right, so there's fancy ways you can do these joins, okay? You can push them all together like this. Yeah. Solder them, etc, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you on these larger wires how we're going to solder the smaller wire to the large wire, right? Yeah. So first of all, you get some soldering wire. Okay, I've cut a little bit off here. Soldering iron, that is the end of that bit is hot, and that bit there, okay? So if I put this on here, you can see that it melts, see I just push the solder in, it's all disappearing, okay? Those globules are hot, okay? So what you want to do is not burn yourself for starters, okay? So you can heat the wire and then put the solder into it, or you can heat the solder and force it into the wire, right? So you watch this. See how that wire's now got solder on it? Yep. It's got a layer of solder on it. Okay, so there's quite a bit there now, all right? So you can also do, it smells quite nice, eh? So this is how we're going to do our one. So you're going to put solder on the one wire, and then solder on that other small wire. Oops, come here, baby. I'm making a dog's breakfast of this. Okay, so I've got a bit of solder on each. Probably not enough on this one for the size wire. Then basically what I can do, or what you'll be doing on those smaller ones, and it gets a bit tricky, is basically just heat the solder up, and you're gonna, the solder acts like a, I don't know, you call it a glue maybe. Yeah. Okay, so if I overheat this, I can actually tear it apart again. Okay, so I'll show you how I do that. So see how I've just heated it up too much? So you heat the solder up. So the secret is heat the solder up enough to make the connection. Yeah. And hold them in position. See that solder's running? And I'm just going to hold it there. Now there are other ways to make that connection. All we've done is just solder, and using the solder there, you can splice them and then solder them. That's probably what I'd do for a more a different situation. So what I'll do, you can cut that off there and you can bare those, and you can have a go at melting some solder in there, okay?
Sure.
Okay, melt some solder in there, bro. So you always stick the soldering iron back in that holder, okay?
Oh, soft bendy ears.
Yeah, that is soft, okay? So watch that, all that metal bit's hot, okay? Don't stick your finger on it, you'll cry. Let me hold this for you. So. Don't be afraid to put the tip right on it, that's it. Cool, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, you want to do that one?
Yeah.
Okay, so you need to do a bit more on that side, so I've just twisted that wire around for you. Yep. What about a bit more on that black one? Don't touch me with the end of that soldering thing, it's hot. So, cool. Okay, so I'll hold them.
Yep.
It gets a bit difficult when you're trying to do it by yourself, but if you heat that solder up, whoop. Okay.
Ouch.
So let's test that. Okay, so we'll just look at that connection.
Pretty strong.
That's pretty strong, right? It's pretty good, eh? So that's going to make a good electrical connection. It's nice and tight, and that was just a tap, a real quick touch with the solder.
You.
Okay, so now you're gonna. This is a little bit more finicky because the wire's a lot thinner, but you're just going to melt some solder into each one of those. Okay, so basically, you know. Just try not to drop any on the lens, because that's a, hold on, before you, yep, okay, and the black one.
Ooh.
Okay, got a bit of a dobble there, right? Yep, okay, right. That's it, perfect. Hold it there. Well done. Doesn't take much, eh?
No.
Yep, hold it still. Yep, okay, move your soldering iron apart, away. Just gently, because you've got to be very gentle with these wires, okay? Because those other ones are connected to the LED. So just, yep, slide that over, right in there. Okay, unplug the soldering iron, just don't trip over it. You want to go on number one, which is pushing the trigger up.
Yep.
And it's very lightly, okay? Because you don't want to melt that, okay? So, oops.
Should take this away.
No, that's fine. You'll know if you're going too close to it because you'll melt that. Okay, go. Lift it up, quick away. Yeah, don't have it there too often. Now come around. Yeah, let me just do this side.
Got it.
Okay. Yep. Okay, they've shrunk down beautifully. So red for phase, blue for neutral. Okay, so these basically push in like this. Okay, so you'll crimp one wire into there and the other wire will crimp from the ceiling or the roof, whatever, you will crimp into there. So you actually want to do them opposite, so they'll be like that. Whoops, the way that way. Okay? And that way you can never connect the red one into the blue one or vice versa. Not that it matters with 12 volt. You also want to make sure that you stagger your joints. So your joints don't want to be side by side because it just makes it too bulky. So if you cut one wire a little bit longer, so cut the neutral there. Or, wait. This is what happened with the saw today. Look at where those cutters is, right? Okay, so when I say there, I mean there. Okay, look at the way the cutter faces. And not my finger. So we twist these wires together. Now these have holes in them, see?
Yeah.
But you don't, especially on these ones, you don't want to drive the wire all the way through to that hole there.
Yeah.
Because let me show you what happens.
Comes through.
Well, it comes all the way through and then you can't get your
That thing in.
connection in there. So when you do it, if you just lay it on the outside there, you can see where the metal starts, right? And that's about where you want to go. So your wire doesn't actually have to be that long, so it can be that long there. So just trim that by my finger.
Is that right?
Yep, so have a look. I'll show you which one I used, okay? So I used the middle one so that you can see that they actually go a bit smaller. So if you use the big one, they're sized for the different size crimps.
Yeah.
See the crimps are all different sizes? So if you just get the middle one, and squeeze down, and then move the crimper back, squeeze down again, that's it. You can see that connection there, that's all you need, okay?
Yeah.
So, you check that it hasn't come through too far,
No.
crimp that one. Make sure you don't pull that off the wire, so always looking down there to make sure it's in the right place.
And another one?
Yep, just right beside it. On the middle hole. So in order to hide or get those wires up into the ceiling, what we've done is we've actually made a bracket for this, and you'll see that the wires will actually sit down into that offset. I know it's very dark, but there's one that's already been mounted. So basically those wires join into these wires and sit down in there. So you would have seen yesterday, or a bit of film last night, where Sam was actually removing the switch mechanism on the left hand side by my hand. So we've just set his battery up temporarily just to put some light into the bathroom. So if I just come into the bathroom, step back, I'm sitting or standing in where the toilet area is. Sam will be fiberglassing in and the floor of the bathroom and what have you in some upcoming episodes. So the bathroom area is full container height. If I step through into the shower, that's where the toilet will be, and there's a return or lower ceiling there, and the reason for that is that there is some storage space above there. So obviously it all has to be trimmed up and finished yet, but you can get the general idea. So where the kitchen is, give you reference, that's a container door, bathroom, shower in this area, toilet down there. That will be a window into the bathroom, that's just to give a bit of extra natural light. The one on the right hand side is a storage area, a cupboard, and then the bed and the ceiling. And we've been playing with the winch setup as well for the bed. So that's what we've got at the moment. Still needs some fine tuning, pulley system up there. Yeah, so those little 12 volt lights actually light up that bathroom area quite nicely. And the bathroom we painted white as well, so that it will reflect a lot of light. Well, thanks for watching, catch you next week.